Okay, as we do every single Tuesday, Bill Lang from Small Business Australia joins us for the latest on how small business are faring and what they're thinking at the moment. Bill, good to see you. How are you today?
Yeah, good to see you, Adrian. I'm well, thanks.
So this week we started vaccinations in Australia, of course. How are small business owners feeling about this exactly?
Oh, look, it's very positive news for all small businesses. As you know, at Small Business Australia, and TIC has been a key foundation partner in this. We've been encouraging everyone to do the things to keep well, and of course to buy local from local small businesses. Now we can add one more thing to the keeping well mantra. So in addition to keeping your hands clean, keeping a bit of space, wearing your mask, if you can't keep a bit of space, be vaccinated. We could well see, in the near future, the need for effectively a vaccination passport. We're already seeing that happening in countries like Israel. So it's going to be a great thing for people to be vaccinated, and that is really having a positive impact on the mindsets of small business people.
Yeah, you imagine it's going to be a major change now that this is filtering into the community, which is only a good thing. Fingers crossed, of course. The Victorian government, meanwhile, has announced compensation packages for affected Victorian small businesses. Tell us more about this. Is it big enough, and what are businesses saying?
Look, there are 600,000 small businesses in the state of Victoria, and all of them were impacted by the Valentine's Day lockdown, which happened. Some had a positive impact, a few more things ordered online, but the overwhelming majority, a big negative impact on their revenue. Many in particular sectors, hospitality, florists, weddings, major events, they'd already paid money out in terms of fresh things like fresh produce and other supplies. But in addition, they're having to pay wages, they're still paying rent. So what the Victorian government announced has come very late. At best, it will probably cover a maximum of 50,000 businesses as opposed to a few hundred thousand. And it looks like it'll be somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 if you can actually get your hands on it. So look, every dollar counts, but there are many small businesses in those particular sectors that are tens of thousands of dollars out of pocket. And we had the Valentine's Day lockdown, came from nowhere, no sort of early warning signals. This feels to most small business owners a bit like someone's gone and bought a rose a week after Valentine's Day, so it's a bit stale. You put it in the vase, and after sort of one day, it's wilted. It's too little and too late.
Yeah, that's a fair point for sure. Hey, let's look at Moomba. So you mentioned the Valentine's Day lockdown there. Moomba was cancelled. It was a really short, sharp lockdown. Do you think that was a wise move to make that decision?
Well, look, I think the City of Melbourne have already admitted that they made a mistake. There must have been conversations take place between the state government and the City of Melbourne to quickly get that thing going, albeit under whatever the latest version of COVID safety will be for events. But you've got to think about, you've got to sort of feel a little bit sorry for local government to the extent that we in small business, we don't know what's coming from the government. And it appears that local government doesn't know. There are examples around the Mornington Peninsula in the state of Victoria of caravan parks initially being not going to be open over the summer period, and the local governments down there needing to change it pretty quickly. It appears that there's still not a lot of coordination, full and frank sort of conversations taking place between the government and local government. But look, the City of Melbourne at the same time is not doing itself any favours in terms of getting people back into the city and encouraging them. There's a street for your viewers called Exhibition Street that now has bike lanes running down each side. So vans that in the past would deliver food to the local hospitality-related businesses are now going to park around the corner. If you sort of cross the street at anywhere except the crossing lights, you've got the risk of being hit by a bike, and a whole bunch of car parking's being taken out. So I think we've got to get some consistency from the City of Melbourne around if it really wants people back in the city, which I'm sure it does. There are certain things it needs to be doing to enable that, to make it easier, to send the signal that we do want you back.
And just briefly to finish, Victoria is the only state with upper limits in terms of workers who can go back, returning to work. Does Small Business Australia support that approach? Just in about 30 seconds, if I can.
No, look, it's what we want to see is a minimum percentage back. It's the only state that's got those sorts of limitations. The biggest employers, it's the Victorian government, the city, and the City of Melbourne. We need to see them getting the majority of their people back into their offices to demonstrate leadership.
Thanks so much for your time, Bill, and the update. Much appreciated as always. Have a good day. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Adrian.